Next, the November storm. Today's weather making history in parts of western New York.
Where are you trying to go?
Buffalo.
And how's that going?
Not well.
The worst is to the west today, but there's more snow in the forecast for Rochester. Plus, what these people remember about being attacked by a dog in their own home.
You're watching 13 Wham ABC. And this is 13 Wham News at 5.
The farther west you go, the more snow you see. This is Leroy. Down the road in Batavia, walking is as difficult as driving today. And then there's Hamburg, south of Buffalo. By tomorrow morning, some snowbelt towns could have 9 feet of snow.
It's horrible. It's just backbreaking. The snowblower doesn't even do anything.
The National Guard has been activated to help in areas that are buried by snow today.
And in some towns, emergency crews are having trouble responding. Monroe County is among those sending plows to the Buffalo area to help with the dig out. This photo is from a homeowner in Lancaster, Erie County. Patty LaGiacano tells us she expects to be snowed in now for a day. She has yet to see a plow on her street, and the snow is still falling. And we're in for more wintry weather tonight.
We have team coverage beginning with Chief Meteorologist Glenn Johnson. Glenn?
Yeah, guys, you know, it's amazing. I've been forecasting for almost 30 years. I've never seen this kind of lake effect snow across this portion of western New York, at least to this kind of intensity. Take a look at some of the snow spotter reports that we've measured here, and look at the difference in some areas. You know where the Buffalo Airport is? That's right along the Thruway. They measured 2 inches of snow today. You travel to Cheektowaga, that's only about 5-6 miles to the west. 51 inches of snow, 5 feet of snow, and it is still coming down in many, many areas. There's a look at a time lapse. This is over a 6-hour time period. Look at this band of snow. It does not move at all across those southern towns from Buffalo and then through some of the communities just southwest of Rochester. And at this point, they're still getting some heavy snowfall. At this juncture, we think it's at the rate of about 2 to 4 inches per hour. So, you know, you think of this, you go out, you shovel your driveway. 2 or 3 hours later, you got to get out and do it once again. We got lake snow advisories in Livingston County. That's going to be until 6 a.m. We got a lake snow warning. That's still in effect for Genesee and Wyoming County. That is going to be until 1 o'clock on Wednesday. So we still have some, well, we'll get some time to deal with this kind of stuff. Southwest of Rochester, blizzard-like conditions. Genesee, Wyoming County, there's those snowfall rates. We think it's going to be tapering off tomorrow morning. Finally, we'll see what the totals finally end up to be. And then in a couple of minutes, we're going to show you where Rochester, the Metro Rochester, has the opportunity of getting some heavy snow. I'm going to show you when that's coming up in a couple of minutes.
All right, Glenn, thanks. You mentioned the 51 inches in Cheektowaga. That is more than 4 feet of lake effect snow on the ground near Buffalo. Some of the southern suburbs seeing the most of it. And here's what the snow band looked like as it came to downtown Buffalo off Lake Erie today. Quite a picture from our ABC affiliate WKBW showing this wall of snow approaching.
That lake effect closed a 100-mile stretch at the New York State Thruway. The Thruway is still closed in both directions from exit 46 in Henrietta to the Pennsylvania line. About 100 cars stranded at this hour. 13 Wham's Cody Combs joins us now near exit 46 in Henrietta with the latest. Cody?
Jenny, that snow is still falling, and that's causing drivers to use extreme caution as they approach that toll booth right there. We should point out any traffic going in this direction, they're going to have to go eastbound. Westbound is shut down, and that's stranding some semi-truck drivers here. Those drivers might have to be spending the night in Rochester. Not a hint of activity, only barriers and an eerie quiet on the usually noisy Thruway. And caught in the middle are those who need it most. So where are you trying to go?
Buffalo.
And how's that going?
Not well.
This truck driver from Texas says he has no choice but to wait it out.
There are some secondary roads you can go, but I got hazmat, so, you know, it's not worth taking the chance.
At the usually packed rest stop, no customers and no cars, only employees. Even the Tim Hortons inside became a casualty of the storm outside.
We actually closed because we had like less than a dozen customers in the past few hours, so we just kind of stayed here. So
the winds continued to move, but it seemed everything, including commerce, stood still. These cars needed to get to Buffalo.
No, it's not happening today. I think about tomorrow.
As for today, in what many are calling the season opener, the snow wins. No surprise if you live in this area, but if you don't...
I'm not used to this, man. I'm not used to this.
No word yet on when that throughway will reopen, but we are told by some that it could be closed for the rest of the night. That remains to be seen. We do have some calls out to the Thruway Authority for answers. We'll keep you posted when we have some times. For now, live in Henrietta, Cody Combs, 13 Wham News.
Well, snow in November is not surprising, but this much snow this early is a shock to our systems. 13 Wham's Carlette Claire reporting live from Batavia to see how people are doing there today.
Yes, Doug, people in here in Batavia are a little bit shocked by the massive amount of snow, as you can see, that fell down here. Plenty of them. When we go around on the streets, all you can hear is snow blowers and shovels hitting the pavement. But there's just something about the snow. It has a way of bringing people together. If you live west of here,
It's coming down just as fast as I'm shoveling.
Old Man Winter came quickly this year.
I think it's crazy, but what are you gonna do? Can't control it. Just gotta deal with it.
The biting winds, slick road conditions, blowing snow, making visibility nearly impossible in Genesee County.
I didn't want to wake up. I was hoping it was a dream. I hate the snow.
I thought we'd have a little bit more time than this. I mean, and it goes from 0 to 60. There's no leading into it. It just goes from, grass and trees and leaves to snow and storming, so.
Speaking of leaves, there was no time for the city of Batavia to swoop up these.
Makes it tough to blow. So you get caught in the auger a lot, but it snuck up on us. So.
But he doesn't mind.
I do construction for a living, so during the wintertime I get to play in the snow. So that's what I do. I just do everyone's driveway.
That's by clearing out the sidewalk and driveway for his neighbors.
They take care of my grass in the summertime because I'm never home, so I do this in the wintertime.
Thurston isn't the only one on the street being a good Samaritan.
Well, me and my brother are going to go out and help people get untrapped and take them to where the safety is.
Now, the weather advisory is in effect in this area until tomorrow afternoon. A travel ban is also in effect for the towns of Darien, Pembroke, Alexander, Bethany. Reporting live in Batavia, Carlette Claire, 13 Wham News.
All right, thank you, Carlette.
Feeling cold today? You're not alone. Still ahead, how many states are shivering from this Arctic blast?
And continuing coverage of this November snowstorm, this is a picture Governor Cuomo sent out today. It is the New York State Thruway, 100 miles of it closed from Henrietta to the Pennsylvania state line, and here is the reason why.
But first, some historic snow in western New York, throughout western New York. Glenn says we're not finished yet, talking about a second round of heavy snow coming up. How much are we going to see by the end of the week? We'll find out. Time saver traffic. Why don't we take a look at the Thruway, which remains closed. This is a shot from the Thruway Authority's cameras at Leroy at the 490-90 interchange. The Thruway remains closed from exit 46 at Henrietta all the way to the Pennsylvania line.
Before the Thruway was shut down, some drivers started a long, treacherous trip from Buffalo to Rochester. 13 Wham's Adam Chodak caught up with one of them and asked what it was like.
This was the eastern end of the closure. It started all the way in Dunkirk, south of Buffalo, and then came all the way to here where 390 meets 90. The closure was defined by frustration and confusion. A lot of people coming to this interchange hoping to get on 90 and head west, only to be told by troopers, sorry, you got to turn around and find an alternate route. Then you had the other people who actually were able to get on 90 and head this way before the closure, and we spoke with some of them, and they said it was some of the worst driving they've ever seen.
There were stretches of the road where you were down to 10 miles an hour, and I passed 2 snowplows that were in the ditch on the way between there and here.
No way. Your nerves must be rattled.
I've been through some pretty bad snow on 81, in the North Country, but this is the worst I've seen it on the Thruway.
Now, the driving conditions around here were not great, certainly not what they saw in and around Buffalo, but we certainly had some light snow coming down and on the ground. You take the wind, add that to the mix, and you had some poor visibility in parts. Of course, throughout the day, we had a lot more sun, which made driving easier. Reporting from Henrietta, Adam Chodak, 13 Wham News.
And keep in mind, the heavy snow is right along the Thruway, but if you need to go west, the way to go is 104. I mean, if you go up to 104 and then head west, you're going to find clear conditions. You're not going to find any of this heavy lake effect snow. So it's really the exact positioning of this particular snow squall. And, you know, even though we haven't been getting the heavy snow here, we've been getting some minor amounts, a couple of inches here and there. Temperature now at 19 degrees. The wind chill is down to 2 degrees. We haven't even gotten to Thanksgiving yet. We're talking about this kind of cold. Look at this time lapse. This is a 5-hour time lapse. Usually these lake effect bands are moving and meandering around. This is not moving at all. It's like a fire hose, just streaming tremendous amounts of moisture from the Thruway on south, so right across routes 5 and 20. This is where snow is coming down at the rate of 2 to 4 inches per hour. Winds at times are gusting to 30, 35, and even 40 miles per hour. So that's going to create blizzard-like conditions. Now, again, this is the computer simulation of this particular model, and we think it's going to continue through the overnight. So easily, some of these folks are going to get a lot more snow, and then the lake snow begins to shut down. The wind direction is going to be shifting to the south and eventually to the southeast. So once we go into tomorrow late morning and into the afternoon, that's it. At least for now. Take a look at the new snow amounts as we see it at this point. This is on top of what they have already. You know, they could see another 10 to 20 inches of snowfall on the western end of Genesee County and into Wyoming County and obviously Erie County. And some of that snow extends into our southern towns. So, you know, we could see another 1 to 3 inches depending on where you're located. When you get it down towards Leroy, obviously those amounts start to increase. So let's show you or break it down a little bit in terms of our zones. And we're going to start off on the west side for tomorrow. So lake effect snow squalls for the morning, we're thinking 10 or 11 o'clock they begin to shut down. Still very windy. Temperatures are still going to be in the mid-20s. It's going to take time for them to clean it up, obviously, out that way. On the east side here, east side of 390, east of the Genesee Valley, some breaks of sunshine, a couple of snow flurries. You say, what's the big deal? No issues there. Here's a look at the futurecast, and I want to show you what's going to transpire over the next 36 hours. This low pressure system comes in here. That's what's shifting the winds around a little bit, and it's going to bring us some area-wide snowfall tomorrow night. Not a big deal, 1 to 2 inches in that range, but when this thing goes by, what do you think happens again? Yeah, we get that very strong westerly wind. We get more lake effect snow. So we're going to be in it again as we go into Thursday and Friday. So here's a look at the planning forecast. Lake snow, again, heavier squalls south and west of Rochester. Wind chills are going to be near zero. Tomorrow morning, lake snow tapers. The winds diminish. Temperature starts out at about 19 or 20 by the afternoon. We're into the upper 20s. Still going to be blustery. But again, light snow coming in tomorrow night, area wide. Here's a look at the extended outlook. We go into Thursday and Friday. Winds may shift to the northwest, so Lake Ontario may get into play here. This is where we have an opportunity of getting more snow in the Rochester area. And then Saturday, we're up to about 40 degrees. It starts to warm up again. Look at this. By Sunday and into Monday, they're going to be up around 57 degrees, I think, going into Monday. What a dramatic change. It's interesting. The record for 24-hour snowfall is Montague, 76 inches of snow. That happened in 1997. We think some of these towns may set the all-time 24-hour snowfall record in the lower 48 states. That's big as far as weather's concerned.
Someone said 3 to 4 inches an hour falling right now in some places.
Easily, and that's been going on since last night.
Oof.
So you can't keep up with that kind of stuff.
No. Yeah.
Thank
Epic,
you, Glenn.
Really.
Wondering why the Thruway is closed? This is why. Feet of snow on the ground in parts of western New York. In Buffalo.
It's just too much shoveling.
And Genesee and Wyoming counties. This is a storm we'll remember for years.
You're watching 13 Wham ABC. And this is 13 Wham News at 5:30.
We're not exaggerating when we say it is a wall of snow that's been bearing down on parts of Buffalo, Genesee, Wyoming counties today. Parts of western New York being blasted with feet of snow, and there is still more to come. Nothing really out of the ordinary here in Rochester, but to the west, it is a different story. Glenn Johnson joins us with more on that.
Take a look at this. This is the top of the shed.
Yes.
That is amazing.
And this is a picture from Lancaster, New York, and
they've been, just 3 to 4 inches an hour since last night, like you said.
Well, it's the duration that's the problem. We're talking about 24 hours of snowfall. Take a look at some of these snowfall totals as reported by some of the National Weather Service spotters, some of our spotters, and you can see almost the core of where this heavy snow is located, from Orchard Park out to portions of Genesee County, Alexander, up towards Lancaster and Cheektowaga. Yeah, they got 51 inches just south of Buffalo. Just amazing stuff, and it's still coming down. They could get another 10 to 20 inches of snowfall, especially when you look at this. The ultimate Doppler radar shows that band of snow, that very intense snowfall. They've been getting some thunder and lightning. It's just not moving. It's not going anywhere. So as a result, it is closed, essentially closed for business anywhere from Buffalo on south into Wyoming County. And we don't think it's going to be opening up until really sometime tomorrow morning. So we got lake snow advisories for Livingston County, and then the warnings are up for obviously Genesee County and Wyoming County. So in that heaviest snow, south and west of Rochester, blizzard-like conditions, snowfall at the rate of 2 to 4 inches per hour, and then finally the lake snow tapers tomorrow morning. It tapers tomorrow morning, and then it develops again by the end of the week. We're going to show you that. It's coming up.
The National Guard is on its way to Western New York, called in by Governor Cuomo to help with the dig out. That's a picture of the New York State Thruway today. The Thruway is closed from Henrietta west to the Pennsylvania line. Our crew did manage to make it out to Genesee County. 13 Wham's Jim Madelinsky reporting on the snow story in Batavia. Welcome to Western New York, your first storm here, Jim.
Yeah, Jenny, I picked a good one, it looks like. The snow certainly showing no signs of slowing down here in Batavia. And I've got an example for you guys. Take a look at this. This is an example of just how deep it is around here. I can get down about to my knee. Now, this is right next to the road, so it's a little exaggerated, but still plenty of snow here in Batavia, and that's why there is a travel advisory here. There's a travel ban for other parts of the county, but just an advisory here. Not a lot of road to be seen with people staying inside. There is some money to be made, though. Batavia's original pizza shop is still braving the streets and actually making deliveries. It's been a busy day for them, and they don't plan on slowing down.
I guess it's going to depend if they put a travel ban out there, and that would probably determine if we stay open or not, because no one's going to come out. They're probably not going to come in and eat in. It's going to be probably a lot of deliveries to the hotels.
Again, a large portion of Genesee County still seeing some significant snowfall. The Thruway shut down for more than 125 miles. Now, Highway 5, which is actually how we got out to Batavia, is still passable, but it's getting worse hour by hour, so it's important to use caution if you do have to travel tonight. But for now, we are live in Batavia. Jim Madelinsky, 13 Wham News.
All right, Jim, thank you. Around Rochester, we're not shoveling so much, but we're shivering. The temperature is in the 20s with wind chills that make it feel a lot colder than that. 13 Wham's Patrice Walsh is with us now on how it's affecting people, the roads, and travel in general. Patrice?
Yeah, Doug, this is the kind of weather that really takes your breath away. It can be dangerous, especially if you find yourself stuck or stranded in your car. That's why you have to be prepared before you hit the road.
The bitter cold caught some off guard.
I didn't have any of the winter coats out, none of the gloves, none of that, so we did the scramble this morning before the bus came.
I have no boots either because I haven't dug them out yet.
We're not shoveling like they are in Buffalo, but we do have the extreme cold temperatures, which meant icy roads and accidents like this one, as well as several calls from drivers whose car batteries died and they were stranded on the side of the road.
Don't take any chances. In this cold weather to be outside because of a dead battery, you're better to just have it replaced.
Car batteries usually last about 5 years. You can have them tested to see if they need replacing. You should do that as part of your winter check for your car.
Check all the fluids, your antifreeze, and make sure you have all your levels are where they need to be, so you're not stuck on the side of the road.
Linda Cole is glad she had her car checked before she drove through a whiteout on the Thruway Monday night before it was shut down.
There was cars and ditches and no snowplows anywhere. And it was scary. It was harrowing.
And we're starting to get more snow than I've seen for much of today, but the bitter cold, really the story. We always hear pack an emergency kit for your car, flashlight, blankets, water, in case you're stranded, and fill your tank. It will help you get better traction on the slippery roads. Reporting live in Henrietta, Patrice Walsh, 13 Wham News.
Well, it's an amazing situation when you see this plume of lake effect snow, and the issue here, we've seen this kind of snowfall before. I mean, that's not the major issue. It's that it's stayed in one location for a very long period of time, so they're just getting heavy snow hour after hour after hour just south of Buffalo. And when you get into some of these southern towns, this is where they're getting snowfall at the rate of 2 to 4 inches per hour, and you can see how this band extends right into and just to the south of Rochester. So we've been getting some accumulation, mainly for the towns just south of Rochester. Henrietta towards Avon, over towards York. Leroy's got about maybe 5 or 6 inches of snow on the ground. And, well, you can see with some of our weather spotters here, Scottsville, southern portion of Monroe County, there's about 3 inches of new snowfall on the ground. And everybody, of course, is getting the very cold weather. Here's a look at the HD Wham Cam. We got some snow flurries. Temperatures at 19 degrees. The wind chill is down to just 2 degrees. Mid-winter conditions. And it's only November. Amazing. The hour-by-hour forecast, the temperature is not going to change all this much. We think we're down to about 18 degrees, 9 or 10 o'clock tonight. We'll probably inch down another degree or two as we go through the wee hours of the morning. And then we start to get some breaks in the cloud cover. We think the winds are going to start to shift a little bit, and we're going to get some improvement. Finally, the Lake Erie snow band will dissipate tomorrow. So any lake effect snow showers end through the morning south and west of Rochester. Now, we could sneak in a little bit of sunshine, but temperatures are still going to be pretty cold. We're talking about temperatures that are only in the 20s. We just got a piece of video that I want to show you. Take a look at this. This is from earlier today. This is off of the Buffalo Harbor. Look at this intense lake effect snow. This is an aerial camera, and it's a time lapse. What you're looking at is lake effect snow squalls, that moisture being wicked right off the top of Lake Erie, and that is all that tremendous snowfall. Think of it almost like a cup of coffee. You get that steam coming off the cup of coffee. Well, Lake Erie, the temperature's around 49 or 50 degrees. You get just a few feet above that. We're talking about temperatures that are in the teens easily. What does warm, moist air want to do? It wants to rise, and you can see it. It almost looks like a boiling pot, if you will. And as we go through time, we have more lake effect snow. No doubt about this, because we still have to get through this cold air as we go into Friday and into Saturday. Then we get into the warmer weather as we head into the weekend. So through this evening, the temperature dropping through the 20s. Still some heavier snow squalls south and west of Rochester. Lake snow begins to taper down tomorrow morning. I think we get some breaks of sunshine. Not going to help the temperature much. We get up to about 28 degrees, and then we find some more light snow coming in again tomorrow night. Here's a look at our extended outlook. Thursday, 32. Yeah, more lake effect snow, more than likely coming in off of Lake Ontario during the day on Friday. Check out Saturday and Sunday. Yeah, it does start to turn a little bit warmer here. I want to focus in on Monday. Look at the temperature on Monday. 57 degrees. We're going to go from one season to another season. Again, in a very short amount of time. Amazing stuff.
57, all right.
Hey, can I just ask a real quick question? Yeah. When all that melts like that, we have to worry about flooding, or?
No, we don't. You know, lake effect snow is very dry and powdery. It's not that heavy, so not a big deal.
All right. No shortage of great weather pictures from this day. This one comes to us from Marion Alden. It looks like pretty snowed in her front yard. We're going to take a look at some more photos when we come back. Even by Buffalo standards, this storm is epic. 48 inches in 24 hours and still counting. The job digging out has become so big, the governor has called in the National Guard. DOT crews from Rochester are also on their way to help. The lucky ones are shoveling out the cars in their driveway. About 100 cars are still stranded on the Thruway. Welfare checks are being done via snowmobile. The Weather Service issued a special weather statement for the extreme snow rates, warning that, quote, you will become trapped if you attempt to drive in or through the areas under the snow band.
And we have gotten lots of pictures from viewers throughout the day. This one is from Christine, who is in Pavilion. That's the school there. You can see on the plow on the road right out front. And then this came to us from James in Cheektowaga. James is up to his, he's not a kid, that's an adult, up to his shoulders. Not quite as much snow for these horses to enjoy. This is in Riga, so the west side of Monroe County. And then in downtown Rochester, not much to see. What a difference the area makes. Depends on where you are. And this one is going crazy on social media. A dog in Lancaster having trouble getting out the front door. It will be a while. A reminder, you can share your pictures with us by posting them on the 13 Wham Facebook page. We'll be right back. That is 13 Wham News at 5:30.
And here's Don.
And coming up next, the November storm that is making life difficult for many. I'm not used to this, man. I'm not used to this.
Yeah, we're not used to it. Now a massive snowstorm is impacting folks both to the west of us and here at home as well. And will we see this much snow here?
You're watching 13 Wham ABC. And this is 13 Wham News at 6.
It might be tomorrow before we get out of here.
Yeah, drivers stranded as the Thruway remains shut down in both directions from night, from Henrietta to the Pennsylvania line, as snow continues to pummel western New York. Good evening. This is one for the record books. Unrelenting lake effect storms dropping an entire season of snow on parts of western New York in just 24 hours. In Buffalo, they're measuring the snow in feet, not inches. Conditions so bad, the National Guard is coming in to help. Most roads are shut down, including that 132-mile stretch of the Thruway, where crews are using snowmobiles to try and check on stranded drivers. We do have team coverage tonight. You see all of our reporters out in the field on this chilly night in areas south of Rochester and on the Thruway as well. Before we get to them, though, let's get to Glenn in the Weather Center and see what he's doing tracking the storm. Glenn?
Yeah, Don, just amazing. Not only the duration of the snowfall, but how the amount of snowfall changes so radically over a short distance. Take a look at this, and this is some of the snowfall reports so far. And obviously, the big numbers are out towards the Buffalo area, and it's right here from Orchard Park to about Attica, Alexander, and Batavia, and Genesee County. And then look at Cheektowaga, 51 inches. You know where the Buffalo Airport is? They got 2 inches at the Buffalo Airport. About 6 miles to the west is Cheektowaga, 5 feet of snow. Just amazing in terms of the breadth and the extent of this snowfall. And you can see this band. This is a 5-hour time lapse. It just keeps coming. It's been going since last night, and it's going to keep going right into tonight. At this point, the snow is falling at the rate of about 2 to 4 inches per hour. Yeah, they're getting blizzard-like conditions. At this point, we have lake snow advisory for Livingston County, then a lake snow warning. That's going to be until 1 o'clock tomorrow because we see some favorable changes coming our way. But in the meantime, in these areas, it's a blizzard. Genesee, Wyoming County, there's that snowfall rate, and it will be tapering by early tomorrow morning, at least for now. We may get in on some of this bigger snow by the end of the week. We're going to show you that coming up.
A season of snow in one day. In Genesee County, a state of emergency declared late today because of the heavy snow, the high winds, and low visibility on the roads. Let's head over to Carlette Claire, live in Batavia, where people have been plowing and shoveling all day long, and you can see the flurries still coming down, Carlette.
Oh, yes, Don, it's still coming down, still chilly, still cold. The snow has not let up here in Genesee County, which is the halfway point between Rochester and Buffalo. The county's state of emergency issued around 3 o'clock Tuesday afternoon restricts all travel in western part of the county, with schools and businesses shut down. Many streets were empty, and the only sounds were heard in this community: snowblower engines and shovels hitting the ground. Shoveling is that much more challenging in mid-November when just underneath that growing pile of snow is a pile of leaves that still need to be raked up.
I thought we'd have a little bit more time than this. I mean, and it goes from 0 to 60. There's no leading into it. It just goes from, grass and trees and leaves to snow and storming. So
makes it tough to blow. So you get caught in the auger a lot. But it snuck up on us.
I didn't want to wake up. I was hoping it was a dream. I hate the snow.
Now, Tyler, who you just heard there, told me he plans to jump on his snowmobile with some of his friends and his brother and make the rounds to help others in the area dig out from underneath all of this falling snow. Since the state of emergency is in effect in Genesee County and will remain that way until further notice, here's guessing that there will be plenty of people around here who could use his help. Reporting live in Batavia, Carlette Claire, 13 Wham News.
All right, thank you, Carlette. Whenever we get this much snow so quickly, you can be sure some motorists will become stranded, and that's when the tow trucks are called out. As we hear from Jim Lyadolinsky, it has been a busy day for those drivers out in Batavia. He joins us now with more on that. Jim?
Well, Don, you can say that again. And actually, within the city of Batavia itself, it's actually been okay. We're told there have only been a few incidents involving cars within the city. It's when you get outside the city and really throughout the county is where they've been seeing more snow and more trouble. There have been a number of accidents reported throughout the area, and that has kept businesses busy. Dan's Auto and Tire Service in Batavia here said they've had crews out since 4 o'clock in the morning. They've brought up more than 40 cars they've had to tow, and they've had between 8, and when we talked to them earlier this afternoon, they had 18 cars just waiting on the list.
I've seen them here and there, but they're pretty much been 3 trucks out all day. We're covering all the way to Bennington, and yeah, it's pretty bad.
And they're gonna keep those trucks in service throughout the night, and it looks like they'll be plenty busy. We've seen more than a foot of snow already here in Batavia. We are live in Batavia tonight. Jim Madalinsky, 13 WHAM News.
All right, Jim, this snowstorm was big enough to close a huge portion of the Thruway. We have mentioned that. We have a shot of the Thruway tonight near Buffalo. This is a live picture of Route 90. It's in Pembroke, where some vehicles had to be abandoned. Drivers just having no choice but to pull over. We're told that snowmobiles are out looking for them, checking on them. With cleanup still underway, the Thruway remains closed from exit 46 in Henrietta all the way to the Pennsylvania state line. 13 WHAM's Cody Comey is live at exit 46 right now. Cody, getting any word there on when this may reopen?
No word yet, but I can tell you that the wind is picking up, the snow is falling, and people are slowly approaching the toll booth, as you can see, but we should point out that they must go eastbound to that eastbound ramp. They cannot go westbound. That is the part that is shut down. We reached out to the state police as well as the Thruway Authority. We are warned that it could be closed throughout this evening, later, a few more hours, possibly into the morning, although that remains to be seen. Now, we also spoke with some semi-truck drivers that are stranded, and keep in mind, these are relatively seasoned drivers. They've seen all there is to see, basically, in terms of road conditions, but they say based on what they've seen in their driving, they've never witnessed conditions like this, especially on this Thruway. We spoke with a truck driver from Texas who had to pull over, and he's anxious to get his cargo to Buffalo.
It's just an extra day sitting around, you know.
So what's that mean for you now? I mean, obviously you're getting some rest, but
no money. Not getting paid to sit here because of weather.
Now, we should point out, why did they just choose to close all the way up to exit 46 here? Well, that comes with the planning. They wanted an area where there are quite a few hotels, quite a few restaurants. In case these drivers do, in fact, get stranded overnight, they have a place to go. But for now, not yet clear as to when the Thruway will reopen. For now, live in Henrietta, Cody Combs, 13 WHAM News.
All right, thank you, Cody. Carla, Jim as well out there in the cold tonight. We will continue to update you, of course, throughout the night. The Weather Center standing by as well. More updates on 13wham.com. Full reports on Fox News at 10 and here on 13 WHAM News at 11.
Well, everybody knows what lake effect snow looks like. We show you what it looks like on the radar. We show you video and pictures of the heavy snow. Let me give you a different perspective. This was some video that was shot from the Buffalo Harbor. Look at this. This is Lake Erie. Look at the snow. There's a temperature difference of some 50 degrees between the water temperature and then the air temperature here. Think of it like a big cup of coffee. You get that steam rising up off the top of it. Well, that wind is pushing it downstream. Tremendous amounts of moisture coming in off of Lake Erie. Yeah, let's give you the flip side here. Take a look at the ultimate Doppler radar. This is what it looks like. Look at the size of this lake effect band that extends from Cleveland all the way up towards Buffalo. And the problem here is it's been heavy snow. We know that, but it's just not moving. It's staying in the same position. So in this particular area, essentially just south of Buffalo, right across the Thruway, particularly along routes 5 and 20, snow coming down at the rate of 2 to 4 inches per hour. Some areas have already gotten 3 to 5 feet of snow. They could see another 2 to 4 feet, I think, through the overnight, especially close to Buffalo. And you can see here in Rochester, we've been right on the edge of this, just getting into Scottsville and Henrietta. Take a look at our current conditions. We're certainly getting the cold weather. 19 degrees. The wind chill is down to 2. A lot of our weather spotters calling in, talking about the cold weather. And you can see the southern towns here. This is where we start to pick up a little more accumulation. One example is Scottsville with 3 inches of snowfall over the last 24 hours. So how much more snow? Look at this. Yeah. They're going to get the yardstick out again tonight. So it's going to keep coming down here. We think easily another 10 to 20 inches at least anyway. I think through the Rochester area, maybe a coating to an inch or two, and those amounts start to increase when you get out towards Byron, Leroy, and obviously out towards Batavia. Here's a look at our weather for tomorrow. Now, the lake snow is going to start to shut down. I think we're going to get some breaks of sunshine. It's going to be chilly, still going to be windy, lots of blowing and drifting snow out in the open areas, the high temperature in the upper 20s. Now, the lake snow ends here briefly, and look at this. It redevelops again going into Thursday off of Lake Erie. More heavy snow coming Thursday and into Friday. Some indication that the winds are going to start to shift to the northwest, which means Lake Ontario is going to be the big factor, and that's where we may get some big snow. So the forecast through this evening, wind, temperatures are going to be dropping through the teens tomorrow morning. We're starting out at 19 degrees. Hey, we'll get a little bit of sunshine tomorrow morning. Then we're into the afternoon, still blustery, the high near 28 degrees. Here's a look at the extended outlook. Here comes some of that lake snow Thursday night and into Friday. This is where we're going to have to watch going into the beginning of the weekend. And then the weekend, it all shuts down again. Look at this by Sunday. We're up to about 50. Look at Monday. We're going to be up around 57 degrees. We're going to go from winter back to spring. That was it. Winter's going to be over just in a couple of days in Rochester.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Despite the blizzard in Buffalo, it's game on for the Sabres in San Jose tonight. If you had tickets and you couldn't make it, the Sabres are letting you exchange them for another game. And let's check on the weather. A lot of people want to know tonight.
Take a look at the radar here. The snow still coming down at the rate of 2 to 4 inches an hour southwest of Rochester. Right here, southern Monroe County, maybe a coating to 2 inches. That's it for us.
State of emergency declared by the governor in Genesee and Wyoming counties moments ago. More on that at 10 and 11.
Now on Fox Rochester, an epic storm that's not over yet.
For 15 hours, people on this bus were stranded on the Thruway trying to get out of Buffalo.
If you're traveling south of the Thruway, you can expect to see roadblocks like this, while you won't have access to many roads for quite some time.
He latched on and then shook like crazy.
How this Gatesman survived a pit bull attack and church to go.
You're watching Fox Rochester. And this is 13 WHAM News at 10.
Snowbound on a bus for 15 hours. Stranded travelers finally off the Thruway tonight.
We got bombarded with snow and the bus just stopped moving. Tires were rolling, nothing. We were there for hours.
About the only thing moving was the snow across Lake Erie, hovering over western New York, dumping as much as 4 feet of snow. And this storm is not done yet. More snow is expected. We've got a live look now at Henrietta. Didn't see a lot of snow. And Pembroke in Genesee County, which has seen a lot of snow. First, for what's ahead, we're going to check in with Glenn at the Weather Center.
Yeah, Jenny, when we're talking about extreme lake effect snow, we're really talking about extremes over a very short distance. And we can see that when you take a look at some of the snowfall amounts. Check it out. This is over the last 24 hours. And you can see in the Rochester area, you know, we just really haven't gotten all that much. Anywhere from a coating to maybe 2 to 3 inches, depending on where you're located. But you can see where the core of the very heavy, intense snowfall has been located. Places like Cheektowaga and Lancaster getting upwards of 4 and 5 feet of snowfall. And check out this distance here from Lockport, where they got an inch, down to Lancaster. You know, we're really just talking about maybe 30 miles or so. Not even 30 miles, maybe 1 to 3 miles. That's about it across the area. So it really varies significantly, and it's still going. You can see it on the ultimate Doppler radar, that one band off of Lake Erie still coming down rather heavy at times here. In terms of accumulation, we think we're going to see somewhere between, well, another 2 to 4 inches per hour in this particular area. So it's going to stay to the south and west of Rochester, will not be affecting us for now. Now, we still have a lake snow advisory for Livingston County until 6 a.m., and then the warning is in effect for Genesee and Wyoming County, and that is going to be until 1 o'clock. Quick look at the weather forecast for tomorrow. A lot of this lake snow is going to be tapering off and ending. Temperatures starting out near 19 degrees. Now, we'll sneak in a few breaks of sun for the morning. Temperature by midday, mid-20s. Later in the afternoon, you know, maybe we get up around 28 or 29 degrees. That's going to be about it. In a couple of minutes, we're going to show you where we have the possibility of getting some of that heavier lake effect snow. I'm going to time it out for you. It's coming up.
All right, now our team coverage of this November storm. Alexis Arnold live in Pembroke, Genesee County. But first we go to 13 Wham's Rachel Glazer in Henrietta, right near the Thruway, talking to people who got snowbound on it overnight. Rachel?
Eugene, well, first I want to tell you, it looks like some cars are moving onto the Thruway. The toll booth has finally started to let people in and out, but the sign here still says that both directions are closed until the Pennsylvania state line. So we're still trying to get that confirmed, but police are on the scene. It looks like they're slowly letting some trucks on and off the Thruway. But, you know, all day we feel the cold here. So cold our phones aren't working, but people have said, you know, it's not all that bad. We haven't gotten that much snow, but all you got to do is head west. We went out to Batavia. It took us like 2 hours, and that is where you're going to see people running into trouble.
Yeah, I'm trying to get home. My mission is to get home.
Stranded by the snow, many people are far from home.
A lot of snow. I've never seen this much snow in my life.
This bus is supposed to be in New York City, but about 30 miles from the Buffalo airport, it got stuck on the Thruway.
4 o'clock in the morning, we got bombarded with snow, and the bus just stopped moving.
For 15 hours, they were trapped on the bus. Luckily, it had enough gas to keep it running that long.
The driver kept pushing the pedal, and it was just hours of that. Hours.
Finally, the bus and the 50 passengers on board made it to the closest exit and found a place to stay. Hundreds of truckers and travelers sold out hotels up and down the Thruway.
I figured as long as I had my flashers on and my lights on, I could make it, trudging 10 miles an hour. I'd finally get there.
Trying to get home to Buffalo, drivers say they hit a wall in Batavia.
There was barely a dusting on the ground, and then all of a sudden, it was mass chaos.
Paul White tried to head north to go up and around the storm, but strong winds blew the snow and blanketed those back roads as well.
A lot of snow came in and trapped everybody in this hotel, and we cannot get out.
The trek is difficult, but emergency responders in Rochester are headed into some of the hardest hit areas.
It's in most of our blood. We just like to help.
Rural Metro sent crews to Buffalo to help out, and they're also bringing a truck to tow out any ambulances if they get stuck. Now, when you get out to Buffalo, they're seeing EMT workers, plow drivers that can't even get into work. So they're sending crews from this area. The Department of Transportation is also sending some plows, drivers, all to help out in that way while they continue to salt and de-ice this area. And, we're seeing truck drivers here scramble to get onto the Thruway right now. We just yelled out to a driver, and he said that the eastbound lanes are open. We're still waiting to get that confirmed, but truck drivers are lining up here to get through the toll booth and get onto the Thruway to finally get moving again out here. Live in Henrietta, Rachel Glazer, 13 WHAM News at 10 on Fox Rochester.
All right, thank you, Rachel. Earlier, there was a picture that said it all from the New York State Thruway. Shut down. You don't see this very often. How many feet? 4 feet or so on the State Thruway. It is cleared up, though, and we're trying to track down the very latest on that, though it does appear to be open. Our team coverage continuing now with 13 WHAM's Alexis Arnold live along the Thruway in Pembroke, Genesee County. That snow belt out there. Alexis, what's the latest from there?
Well, Jenny, with many parts of the Thruway closed earlier today, travel stops like this one were packed. It's really become a trucker's haven. You can see behind us there are row after row after row of trucks here. Many slept here last night. They will be sleeping here again tonight. And with the weather keeping many motorists stranded, it also posed a challenge for first responders. We started out traveling south, heading towards the Thruway in search of snow. A few miles shy of the Thruway, we found it. The highway strangely quiet and dark, sending drivers, including our crews, searching for alternate routes. Our destination was Corfu, but we only made it this far. We're at the intersection of routes 5 and 77. We were met by the Pembroke Fire District. We were told it could be a day, even longer, before we could travel farther south.
I left my house this morning to go to my terminal at Niagara Falls. Tried to circumvent this by going through Attica and up Route 77, and it was a dead standstill. The snow at one point was to the bottom of the mirrors, and I couldn't open the doors.
They're going to be shut down at least until tomorrow due to disabled vehicles in the roadway.
and there's such a hard snowpack on the roadway, it's going to take a while for the town to clean it up.
Forcing even first responders to use other means to respond to calls.
Whether it's by foot, ATV, or snowmobile.
The nearby travel center has become a trucker's haven. Mike Osborne got here just in time to grab a spot.
I was hoping to get out of here tomorrow, but they say maybe not until Thursday, so, you know, it's just another day at the office, right?
Another day at the office for news crews as well. All eyes are on the sky right now. We're hoping the snow will stop sometime soon. Truckers, motorists also keeping an eye on the Thruway. Many hoping to get back on the road. They're eager to get back to work, Jenny.
All right. Thank you, Alexis. Stay safe, and we'll talk to you coming up about 10:30. A reminder about the icy conditions on the roads. The sheriff in Genesee County has issued a travel advisory, and the town of Leroy, also in Genesee County, issued its own travel ban. Amtrak has suspended service between Albany and Buffalo, as well as service to Toronto and Cleveland. Even by Buffalo standards, this storm is epic. As much as 60 inches of snow has fallen in some places south of Buffalo. At times today, it was falling at 3 to 4 inches an hour, virtually impossible to keep up with.
Just backbreaking. The snowblower doesn't even do anything.
4 deaths have been blamed on the storm in the Buffalo area. Schools there are closed again tomorrow. Drivers are being warned if they go out and drive into a snow band, they will get stuck. And now a look at some of the pictures from Lancaster, a suburb of Buffalo. The snow along this driveway taller than the person shoveling it there. And a shed in a backyard almost completely buried. These photos sent in from a viewer, Patty, taken at a home in Lancaster. Our team coverage will continue throughout the next hour on Fox and on Channel 13 at 11. And for the latest closing and storm coverage in the morning, tune in to Good Day Rochester starting at 4:30 on Channel 13. You can also get the latest information anytime on 13wham.com and on our mobile apps. The cold weather is affecting the entire country. Take a look at this map from today. 49 of the 50 states had freezing temperatures this morning. We are not alone. And closer to home, this storm is blamed for at least 1 death. A Genesee County employee collapsed operating a snowblower in front of the sheriff's office. Still no word on the official cause of death. Only some light snow at this hour. This is a live look from Pembroke, Genesee County. Hardly the picture earlier today. They received several more inches of snow throughout the day and overnight. The tally is growing there and in many areas of the snow belt in this lake effect band. Glenn's now here with what's ahead.
Yeah, Jenny, you know, there was some speculation that maybe we would come close to the all-time 24-hour record snowfall. That was 76 inches. That was in Montague, New York. And for some areas, maybe coming close to that. Anyway, you can see how on the ultimate Doppler radar, how some of these bands of snow are kind of shifting in different directions. We're getting some changes in the wind direction. And what we're starting to see here is some of the snow is obviously starting to lighten up just a little bit along the New York State Thruway. They're going to need that break if they're going to try to open this up. But the snow still coming down out towards Attica and then points south of Buffalo. We're also getting some very light snow flurries and snow showers through the immediate Rochester area, but any accumulation that we get through the overnight is going to be minimal. Here's a look at the conditions at the airport. We get, well, we'll call it cloudy skies, some flurries here and there. Temperatures at 20. The wind chill is down to just 3 degrees. Here's a look at our futurecast. Now, here's the break that I think a lot of folks are going to be looking for. This is tomorrow morning, 6:30. Still some lake snow coming in off of Erie, but as we progress through the morning, we're going to get a break. Now, the problem here is this break is probably going to last about 12 to 15 hours. That's the time you're going to have to dig out. That's essentially what it comes down to, because as we start to go into tomorrow evening and tomorrow night, here we go again. The winds start to pick up out of the southwest. Some of the snow is going to be heavy at times towards Batavia. Some of this may get into the Rochester area, and this is going back towards midnight, and this band of snow is going to be moving around, and we'll see some additional accumulation when that band regenerates. And you can see this developing on the computer model model down towards Attica Pavilion. This is new snowfall. They could easily see another 10, 15 inches of snow extending in just south of Leroy out towards the Caledonia. And some of this is going to get into our southern towns of Monroe County here as we go through tomorrow night. Now let's zoom in a little bit more on tomorrow anyway. And as we mentioned, there's going to be some lake effect snow squalls early, and I'm thinking before 10 o'clock or so, and then they come to an end. We'll just find cloudy skies, temperature in the mid-20s. Now, if you live on the east side, you're saying, you know, what's the big deal with the snow? There's not much going on out towards Canandaigua and Victor. There'll be some snow flurries. Temperature's going to be in the upper 20s. Here's a look at the futurecast as we go through time. What's producing this break and what is shifting the winds around a little bit is going to be this area of low pressure with the front coming on through. That really just gives us a little bit of a chance to dig things out. When that goes sweeping on by again, you can see the wind direction. Same old stuff. And then we're going to be tracking these bands of heavy snow and where they're going to be setting up. So as we go through the overnight, still some lake snow off of Erie. Most of us will see an inch or less, but southwest of Rochester, Wyoming County, through portions of Genesee County, they could see another 3 to 12 inches of snowfall on top of the feet of snow that they have out that way. Tomorrow morning, we're starting out at about 19 or 20. Any lake snow tapers, and by the afternoon, I think it's just cloudy skies. Temperatures are going to be in the upper 20s. Still going to be a little bit blustery at times. The extended outlook, the winds start to pick up again. That break comes to an end as we go through the next 36 hours. By Friday, we're starting to get some lake effect snow off of Lake Ontario. This is where we have an opportunity of getting some additional accumulation in the Monroe County area, the Wayne County area. Temperatures are going to be dropping, but as we go into the weekend, it doesn't last. Look at the change. By Sunday, we're into rain showers, and the temperature is going to be near 50 degrees. Do you think we're going to need a break here by the end of the weekend?
Especially people in Buffalo.
Oh, it's been tough. It's amazing that I've never seen that much snow in that short amount of time over such a short distance.
Not done yet.
No, they're not done. It's still tonight.
All right. Well, we are lucky enough not to be shoveling for the most part, but we are shivering. The wind chill made it feel even colder, but many areas only got a dusting of snow. Not everyone, though, is complaining about the early cold weather and snow.
Oh, I've always really liked it. Maybe it's because when I was a kid, my parents we'd go outside and we'd make snow angels or go to a hill in Durand and roll down it or sled or whatever.
But the cold temperatures did cause some icy roads and some fender benders.
We're seeing a lot of accidents. You know, there's a lot of accidents on the road, obviously caused by the slick conditions. Mainly, you know, tire related. All right, everybody's moving a little too fast. Everybody's got to slow down.
That's the word, slow down. Gates Automotive getting a lot of calls for dead car batteries as well. Before the Thruway was shut down earlier today, some drivers started a long, treacherous trip trying to get from Buffalo to Rochester. 13 WHAM's Adam Chodak caught up with one of them and asked what it was like.
This was the eastern end of the closure. It started all the way in Dunkirk, south of Buffalo, and then came all the way to here where 390 meets 90. The closure was defined by frustration and confusion. A lot of people coming to this interchange hoping to get on 90 and head west, only to be told by troopers, sorry, you got to turn around and find an alternate route. Then you had the other people who actually were able to get on 90 and head this way before the closure, and we spoke with some of them, and they said it was some of the worst driving they've ever seen.
There were stretches of the road where you were down to 10 miles an hour, and I passed 2 snowplows that were in the ditch on the way between there and here.
No way. Your nerves must be rattled.
I've been through some pretty bad snow on 81, you know, in the North Country, but this is the worst I've seen it on the Thruway.
Now, the driving conditions around here were not great, certainly not what they saw in and around Buffalo, but we certainly had some light snow coming down and on the ground. You take the wind, add that to the mix, and you had some poor visibility in parts. Of course, throughout the day, we had a lot more sun, which made driving easier. Reporting from Henrietta, Adam Chodak, 13 WHAM News.
And we're going to update the conditions on the Thruway in a moment. We are getting reports it is beginning to reopen. So coming up next, our team coverage of this November storm continues. Rachel Glazer covering some snowbound travelers. Alexis Arnold describing her trip west into the lake effect storm belt. 4 deaths are now blamed on this lake effect snowstorm that swept over parts of western New York today, bringing as much as 50 inches of snow in places. The National Guard now being called in to help with the dig out. We have team coverage. 13 Wham's Rachel Glazer in Henrietta, Alexis Arnold in Genesee County. We're going to start with Rachel Glazer. The latest now on the Thruway conditions in Henrietta. Do you have an update, Rachel?
Well, Jenny, we've been watching slowly. Some trucks have been coming through here. Eastbound lanes are open, but westbound lanes remain shut down here all the way to the Pennsylvania state line. So, you know, it's really not getting all that much better. Some trucks are moving through, but still very slick. You know, lots of people are saying, well, there's not a lot of snow here in Henrietta, but when you start moving west, that's when people start to say that they're running into just walls of snow, and that's where people have been getting stuck all day.
All right, we're going to head west right now because that's where Alexis Arnold is in Pembroke. You had quite the journey out that way, didn't you, Alexis?
Yeah, Jenny, and it's amazing the difference a few miles make. Actually, north of the Thruway, north of where we are, this rest stop, there is virtually any snow. So there's nothing on the ground, basically, a coating or a dusting. Head this way, south, on the other side of the Thruway, and there is just tons of snow everywhere. And we couldn't even get through to our final destination. We were originally trying to get to Corfu, but we didn't even make it that far. The intersection of routes 5 and 77 were blocked because of impassable roads to many vehicles. That even posed a challenge for first responders to respond to calls. They couldn't take their typical rigs to get by. They had to take snowmobiles, maybe travel by foot if they have to. And even here behind me at the Travel America rest stop, they are still plowing, trying to clear some of the roadways here, the parking lot for trucks or any vehicles that might be traveling by.
Well, the good news is there is no snow where either of you are right now, so safe travels to both of you. Thanks for braving those conditions for us. We'll look forward to hearing more coming up on Channel 13 at 11.
Well, all the snow, obviously the big story, but what's kind of getting lost is the extreme cold for this time of the year. I mean, we should be in the upper 40s. Right now, the temperature is only 20 degrees. The wind chill is down close to 0. And take a look at some of these temperatures. We go from 21 degrees at Charlotte, and then come with me all the way down to Swain here. 10 degrees down in Swain, and you know the wind chill is even colder. So we think the temperature is certainly going to be dropping as we go through the overnight, depending on the amount of cloud cover we have. So by 1 o'clock in the morning, we're down to about 19 degrees. Obviously, it's going to be much colder south of the Thruway, especially where they already have that deep snowpack. They could get down around 10, 12 degrees overnight. Here in Rochester, 6 a.m., I think we're starting out at about 17. Now, that lake snow is going to taper off pretty rapidly, so I think we're going to get some breaks of sunshine as we go through the morning, but you can see the temperature is really not going up all that much here. Here's a look at the radar, and you can actually get a sense of 2 different wind directions. One right here, look at this band of snow through the upper Great Lakes up towards Lake Simcoe, and then you can see this band of snow coming in off of Lake Erie. That's more of a southwest wind. So this is the issue in terms of where these wind directions are going to be shifting as we go through time. Now, the snow has been tapering right along the Thruway here. They're getting some relief, but still coming down pretty good when you get it down towards Attica and then points west down towards Hamburg. Still getting snow at the rate of maybe 1 to 3 inches per hour. Right here in Rochester, we're getting some snow flurries, but any accumulation around our neck of the woods is going to be minimal. We're thinking coating to maybe another inch or so. So tomorrow, you know, we're going to get a little sun for the morning, but that's going to be about it. Still midwinter conditions. Temperatures are going to be in the upper 20s through the afternoon. And at least for now, some of this lake effect snow begins to stop and come to an end, and then it begins to redevelop. So this is going to be through the day on Thursday. Look at this once again. Right off of Lake Erie. Here comes the southwest wind. So there's going to be a break here of about 12 to 15 hours or so, and then we get into the lake snow once again. And then the winds are going to be shifting as we head into Friday. This is late Thursday night. Friday, we think it's more of a northwest wind. And then Lake Ontario starts to become a factor in our weather going into the weekend. So midwinter conditions, when are we going to get a break? We see it coming. The temperature will start to go up on Saturday. and it's going to keep going. And I think we're going to be into the upper 50s heading into Monday, if you can believe that. So as we go through the overnight, we're down to about 17 or 18 degrees, still a little bit gusty. Most of us will see an inch or less of new snowfall, but south and west of Rochester, Wyoming County, Genesee County, some folks are going to see another 3 to 12 inches for the overnight. Now, tomorrow morning, I think the lake snow tapers off very rapidly. We get some breaks of sunshine as we go through the afternoon. The high temperature near 28 degrees, mainly cloudy skies. We start to get into some snow showers again tomorrow night, and then the lake snow machine starts up once again. This is going to be into Thursday and Friday. It's going to be shifting from Lake Erie to Lake Ontario, and then I think finally the temperature is going to be going up here, and we're going to transition not only from snow, we're going to go to rain. Yeah, we're going to go from rain. We'll wash off some of that salt. That's the way to look at it. By Sunday and into Monday, temperatures are going to be back into the 50s.
All right. Thank you, Glenn.
Bills head coach Doug Marrone tried to drive to Orchard Park today for work. He didn't make it because of the snow. He was actually on his way when he stopped to help a woman whose car was stuck in the snow. Good job by the coach. The Bills hope they'll all be able to get to the stadium tomorrow as they practice to get ready to play the Jets.
All right. Thank you, Mike.
Lake snow still cranking south of Batavia. At this point, it's just going to be very cold for the bus stop. We're starting at 19 degrees.
All right. No school in Buffalo and areas in Genesee County. We will keep you updated on this storm coming up on Channel 13 at 11 with Don Elhart. Thanks for watching 13 Wham News at 10 on Fox Rochester.
You're watching 13 Wham ABC. And this is 13 Wham News at 11.
A storm of epic proportions. Buried, a giant wall of snow shows no mercy for parts of Buffalo and western New York. Proof that nature is always in charge and winter waits for no one. Tonight, team coverage on a Snowvember to remember. And what is next for Rochester? Good evening. Well, the storm is not over yet, and in fact, parts of it could be shifting our way.
First responders from our area are heading to Buffalo, along with the National Guard called in by the governor. Communities trying to dig out from this storm.
A picture from the Thruway today. Yeah, snowbound drivers cold and weary, trapped in their cars as the blast of winter left parts of the highways looking more like the road to the North Pole.
The Thruway is still shut down in both directions from exit 46 in Henrietta all the way through Buffalo and down to Ripley near the Pennsylvania line. At one point today, as many as 150 vehicles were stranded on the Thruway, though we can tell you within the hour, everyone was rescued.
Now, there is a state of emergency in Genesee and Wyoming counties tonight. There is also a travel ban in the town of Leroy. As we said, we have team coverage tonight. Rachel Glazer and Alexis Arnold are standing by.
We're going to begin, though, with Glenn Johnson. How things could be shaping up in the next coming days.
Yeah, guys, you know, when we talk about extreme lake effect, obviously what we're talking about is really just extreme distances in terms of the heavy lake effect snow and who's getting this accumulation. Take a look at some of these amounts, and it just gives you an idea of how serious this is. Obviously, we only picked up a couple of inches here in Rochester, depending on where you're located, but from Orchard Park over to Attica, Alexander, in Genesee County. Look at Lancaster, 60 inches of snow, tremendous amounts. And look at the short distance from Lockport, where they had a little over an inch here, and then down to Lancaster, that's about 10 or 15 miles. It's a difference of about 55, 56 inches or so. Amazing stuff. Now, the snow continues. Obviously, it is the longevity of this intense snow band. Now, the snow is starting to lighten up just a little bit. At this point, we think the accumulations are starting to drop off a little bit. We're getting some reports near the Thruway that conditions are starting to improve somewhat, but we think another 2 to 4 inches still likely, especially south of Buffalo as we go through the overnight. Now, some good news, because I think we're going to get a break here. This lake snow advisory, that ends at 6 o'clock in the morning for Livingston County, and then the warning for Genesee and Wyoming County, that is going to be ending at 1 o'clock, and I think they'll cancel that even a little bit earlier because the lake snow is going to be tapering off through the morning. So here comes the break. We get a little bit of sunshine here. You know, the temperature is just not going to warm up, obviously. We're only into the mid-20s by lunchtime. By the afternoon, maybe 28 degrees. Now, this break is going to last about 12 to 15 hours. And then guess what? We're in it once again. And we're going to show you where those bands of snow are going to be heading. It's coming up.
3 to 4 inches an hour. You just could not keep up. The sheer power of the storm, no match for anyone caught in the path.
Yeah, especially you're out on the roads tonight. Our team coverage continues. Going to go to 13 Wham's Rachel Glazer, who is live from Thruway exit 46 here in Henrietta. And I know, Rachel, you met up with some of the travelers who have been stranded tonight, Rachel.
Yeah, guys, that's right. And I know we see some trucks getting on here. They're headed east, but as you mentioned, everything from here in Henrietta west to Buffalo, both lanes are shut down. They've been shut down since early this morning. It's been frustrating for drivers trying to get on the road, but when you think about it, people have been stranded out there for a long time, and we caught up with a few of them just a few miles into their trip where they got stuck.
Yeah, I'm trying to get home. My mission is to get home.
Stranded by the snow, many people are far from home.
A lot of snow. I've never seen this much snow in my life.
This bus is supposed to be in New York City, but about 30 miles from the Buffalo airport, it got stuck on the Thruway.
4 o'clock in the morning, we got bombarded with snow, and the bus just stopped moving.
For 15 hours, they were trapped on the bus. Luckily, it had enough gas to keep it running that long.
The driver kept pushing the pedal, and it was just hours of that. Hours.
Finally, the bus and the 50 passengers on board made it to the closest exit and found a place to stay. Hundreds of truckers and travelers sold out hotels up and down the Thruway.
I figured as long as I had my flashers on and my lights on, I could make it, trudging 10 miles an hour. I'd finally get there.
Trying to get home to Buffalo, drivers say they hit a wall in Batavia.
There was barely a dusting on the ground, and then all of a sudden, it was mass chaos.
Paul White tried to head north to go up and around the storm, but strong winds blew the snow and blanketed those back roads as well.
A lot of snow came in and trapped everybody in this hotel, and we cannot get out.
The trek is difficult, but emergency responders in Rochester are headed into some of the hardest hit areas.
It's in most of our blood. We just like to help.
Rural Metro sent crews to Buffalo to help out, and they're also bringing a truck to tow out any ambulances if they get stuck. Local emergency responders and plow drivers, equipment, all here from Rochester is being sent out to Buffalo because they've gotten so much snow. EMT workers can't get to work, neither can plow drivers, and their trucks have been getting caught in the snow, so we're shifting resources trying to help them out, focusing on salting this area. Live in Henrietta, Rachel Glazer, 13 WHAM News.
Well, 4 deaths are now being reported in the Buffalo area as a result of the storm. The snow crippling parts of the city and suburbs, especially Lancaster, West Seneca, and Hamburg.
It's horrible. It's just backbreaking. The snowblower doesn't even do anything.
Die-hard Western New Yorkers are doing what they do best, neighbor helping neighbor to weather the storm.
It's not over yet. Some communities at this point are completely cut off, no way in or out.
13 WHAM's Alexis Arnold found out tonight in Genesee County, and she joins us now. Alexis.
Don and Jenny, with the Thruway closed, rest stops like this one are packed. You can see a row of trucks after truck after truck. Many of these truck drivers slept here last night. They're going to do it all over again tonight. And not only is the weather keeping motorists stranded, it's also posing a challenge for first responders. We started out traveling south, heading towards the Thruway in search of snow. A few miles shy of the Thruway, we found it. The highway strangely quiet and dark, sending drivers, including our crews, searching for alternate routes. Our destination was Corfu, but we only made it this far. We're at the intersection of routes 5 and 77. We were met by the Pembroke Fire District. We were told it could be a day, even longer, before we could travel farther south.
I left my house this morning to go to my terminal at Niagara Falls. Tried to circumvent this by going through Attica and up Route 77, and it was a dead standstill. The snow at one point was to the bottom of the mirrors, and I couldn't open the doors.
They're going to be shut down at least until tomorrow due to disabled vehicles in the roadway, and there's such a hard snowpack on the roadway, it's going to take a while for the town to clean it up.
Forcing even first responders to use other means to respond to calls.
Whether it's by foot, ATV, or snowmobile.
The nearby travel center has become a trucker's haven. Mike Osborne got here just in time to grab a spot.
I was hoping to get out of here tomorrow, but they say maybe not until Thursday, so, it's just another day at the office, right?
And our office turned out to be this travel center and the vehicle that we're working out of tonight. For now, all eyes to the sky. We are waiting for that snow to stop. It is still blowing pretty good right now. And also, we're keeping an eye on the Thruway, hoping that'll open up soon. We have a lot of anxious truck drivers here and, in general, people ready to get back on the road. Many people want to get back to work. For now, we're live in Pembroke. Alexis Arnold, 13 Wham News.
All right, Thruway still closed. Take that alternative route, Alexis, on the way back. Hey, we are certainly not alone with this wicked wind chill. Roads iced up. A lot of car batteries needed to jump. This weather also serves as a reminder to keep a cold weather safety kit in your car. Things like water, blankets, and jumper cables. The entire country is in the deep chill. 49 out of the 50 states had temperatures below freezing at some point today.
And for the latest closing and storm coverage in the morning, a reminder to tune in to Good Day Rochester starting at 4:30 in the morning here on Channel 13. You can also get the latest information anytime at 13wham.com or on our mobile apps. Well, getting back to our 13 Wham weather alert and team coverage of the November storm.
The state thruway remains closed in both directions at this hour from exit 46 in Henrietta all the way to exit 61 near the Pennsylvania state line. That's well south of Buffalo.
And there is a state of emergency for Genesee County, a travel ban in the town of Leroy. Amtrak has shut down most of its service, and Greyhound and Trailway service in Buffalo as well, as we dig out from this storm.
Yeah, and as Glenn mentioned, we could be next.
Well, you know, they're going to need some payloaders to move that snow south of Buffalo. That's the amount of snow. How deep it is amazing. 4 to 5 feet of snowfall. Now, we've shown you this lake effect snow from all different angles. We've shown you what it looks like on the Thruway, what it looks like on the ultimate Doppler radar. Let's give you a different perspective here. This is a look at the genesis of this band of lake effect snow. This is the Buffalo Harbor. Look at the intensity of this. This is coming right off the surface of Lake Ontario. This is the lake effect snow band as it comes further inland. Just tremendous in terms of the amount of moisture that is being wicked into the atmosphere. And you're talking about a difference in the temperature from the top of the water to the a couple of 100 feet into the atmosphere, 50, 60 degrees, and that's how dramatic it is. Take a look at the radar here, and again, this has been a constant. This has been about 24 hours. It starts out around Cleveland, and we've had very little change in the wind direction. So as a result, when you're getting snow, heavy at times, coming down at 2 to 4 inches an hour, you can see some of the results of what they got out in Buffalo. Now, there's some early indications here that some of the snow is starting to lighten up just south of Batavia along the Thruway, still coming down at a pretty good clip from Attica on south. I think they're still going to see another 1 to 3 inches per hour. We're getting some snow flurries here in Rochester, but of course, right here locally, we're not going to see much in the way of any accumulation. Out at the airport now, we have a temperature of 20 degrees. The winds have been picking up, still gusting to near 30 miles per hour. That brings the wind chill down to just 3 degrees. And look at the difference in the temperature from Charlotte at 21 degrees, and then you go all the way down to Swain, and the temperature is at 10 degrees. So obviously this is some brutally cold Arctic air that has moved into western New York. And I want to show you the computer modeling. As we go through the day tomorrow, that band of snow is shifting to the north. We're getting a real significant change in the wind direction. So this is going to be the opportunity to clean things up. Now the problem is we got another weather system that's going to be going by. The winds are going to reorientate themselves out of the southwest, and here we go again, a band of heavy snow. Now how long is this going to stay in one particular area? We're not sure at this point, but we think the snow is going to be heavy at times. Early indications in terms of new snowfall for this area. Yeah, they could get another 10 to 24 inches in this range around Attica, extending up towards Pavilion, over towards Leroy, and I think it's going to get into our southern towns, and much lighter amounts, obviously, as it gets into Monroe County. Temperature-wise, this is not going to go anywhere. We may get a few breaks of sun for the morning. I think we get into the upper 20s through the afternoon. Wind chill is still going to be a factor, probably feeling like it's about 10 degrees at times as we go through the afternoon. Now, we're going to get some more significant break here. I mean, it's going to be like night and day when you take a look at our temperature projection. Once we get beyond Friday, when we start to head into Saturday and Sunday, this is the forecasted high temperature. We think it's going to go up in a big way once we go through the end of the weekend. So let's spell it out. Our weather forecast as we go through the evening, we're down to about 18 degrees, much colder, obviously, south of Rochester. This lake effect snow, most of us will see maybe another coating to an inch in the immediate Rochester area. South and west of Rochester, Wyoming County, Genesee County, they could see another 3 to 12 inches through the overnight. Tomorrow morning, this lake snow shuts down. The winds are going going to be shifting more to the south as we go through the day. Temperatures are going to be starting out near 19 degrees, then more clouds through the afternoon. We'll get more snow coming in by tomorrow evening, and that's where we start to get more lake effect snow. Now, take a look at the extended outlook here. We think the lake snow comes in Thursday off of Lake Erie and then begins to shift. The winds are going to be turning to the northwest, so Lake Ontario is going to be a factor. There's where we have a greater potential of getting some heavier snow in the Rochester area from Monroe County and Wayne County, especially as we go into Friday evening. Now, once we go into the weekend, this is all history. Look at this. By Saturday, we're into some sunshine. Temperature is going to be near 50. We get into Sunday. Hey, I think the temperature is going to be up around 50 degrees or so. Check out Monday. 57 degrees are expected high temperatures. And obviously, if we get any precipitation, it is going to be in the form of rain. Maybe we'll wash away some of that salt. You know, we have the winter season. This is the salt season in Rochester. But just amazing stuff in terms of some of these snow amounts. We were looking at the 24-hour snowfall record for the nation. The lower 48, there was 76 inches of snow from Montague going back to 1997. We came close to that for one of the towns south of Buffalo. In other words, the all-time greatest amount of snowfall ever recorded. That's how significant it was.
Well, this is one for the history books for sure.
No doubt, no doubt.
And for those worried about Friday, because a lot of people say, all right, we get a little bit on Friday and then it could warm up. Hey, look at this.
This is a great photo. I saw on Twitter today. They opened up their front door. Dog wanted to go for a walk, and this is what greeted him. I really got to go.
Yeah.
That's how much snow they got in some parts of Buffalo today.
We join Rachel Glazer live at the Thruway in just a moment. We want to pass along to you word that the Thruway does remain closed between the Rochester exit 46 and the Pennsylvania state line. So it's closed eastbound and westbound.
And check this photo out from our ABC affiliate in Buffalo, WKBW. This is from a family in Cheektowaga, and they're telling this TV station that the snow came barreling through their front door into their living room. They can no longer live in their house as a result of this. And Glenn was saying this is a tough one to explain because lake effect snow is traditionally not that heavy. So we'll have to see more on that story coming up.
Still a state of emergency in Genesee and Wyoming counties. 13 West Rachel Glazer standing by now at exit 46 to bring us the latest from there. Rachel.
Well, guys, as you said, still closed from here to Buffalo, both directions. Now, this closure is coming up on 20 hours now, so it's been a big inconvenience for drivers. We're hearing from people trying to look for alternative routes, and I can tell you, we took one up to Genesee County today, and it took us from Henrietta to Batavia more than 2 hours to get out there. So not easy. Talked to people from the DOT, and they said if you got to go west, you really take the time to think about if you need to go out there. Make sure it's an emergency. Roads are not great. Black ice will be a concern tomorrow, so take your time, have an alternative route, and be safe out there.
All right, Rachel, thank you for that update from the Thruway, which remains closed all the way to Buffalo in both directions.
And a final update from Glenn when we come back.
Lake snow continues through Wyoming County, Genesee County. Some of the snow still heavy at times south of Batavia. For the bus stop for us here tomorrow morning, hey, I think we're in good shape. Most of the lake snow ends, but the temperature only in the 20s.
Coming up in sports.
See if the Bills can make it to practice.
All right, Jimmy Kimmel is next.
Thanks for watching.
You're watching 13 Wham ABC. And this is Good Day Rochester.
Still this morning, many parts of western New York are digging out. Snow continues to pile up record amounts in some places. We are tracking the impact on travel, school closings, first responders from this Snowvember storm. And good morning, 6 o'clock, Wednesday, November 19th. I'm Doug Embley.
And I'm Jennifer Johnson. We got everyone in here today. Norma and Hannah standing by live with more on the weather and the roads out there. Adam Chodak join us live in just a few minutes with some of your photos from this storm damage. But I can't believe what Marty Snyder is about to tell us first, and that is that more is coming to essentially the same place that already got so much.
That's right. Very similar footprint for the second event as compared to what has been playing out for the first one. The first one still is not wrapped up yet. We're still seeing that one band of lake effect drawing in from Lake Erie. There has been a little bit of a northward push to that snow. That trend will continue today. You can see it beginning to lift a little more north across Lake Erie, and that's going to help to essentially cut this band off going through the day today. So at least that's a little bit of temporary good news. In Rochester, again, once again, a very different story compared to well to the west. Teens to start the day, 20s as we head a little deeper into the day. More of a wide-scale snow, not a lot of snow, but more for a general snow versus a lake effect event builds in by the end of the day. But then that lake effect event reestablishes itself for the longer term. We'll let you know the details on that coming up in a few moments.
Taking a look at your morning commute, no major accidents or slowdowns to report as of right now, but due to severe weather, the New York State Thruway is closed in both directions between exit 46 in Henrietta and exit 61 right near the Pennsylvania state line. So with the frigid conditions this morning, use extra caution as we are getting reports of black ice on bridges and overpasses. You may want to give yourself a little bit of extra time for your morning commute. With your time saver traffic, I'm Mike Bowen.
Well, as we said, that snow is still falling in western New York this morning, and the ripple effect is being felt.
Check out the school closures scrolling at the bottom of your screen right now. The worst of it, again, to the west, out towards Buffalo and Genesee County. We do have some time-lapse video of the storm rolling in the Buffalo area. And as you watch this, we can tell you 4 deaths are blamed on the storm there, and as much as 5 feet has fallen in some places.
It has halted travel across the area, and the Thruway remains closed from exit 46 in Henrietta to exit 61. All
right, our team coverage continuing for another day. Hannah Welker standing by in Henrietta near the entrance to the Thruway.
But we start with Norma Holland, who's live in Genesee County, where a travel ban has stranded dozens of drivers. Norma?
Yeah, good morning, Doug. We're live this morning in Pembroke at the travel center here, where so many truck drivers have been stranded, many since Monday night. And you can see it is Truck City. I keep calling it that because it's exactly what it is. This is just an example of the row of trucks. They're all lined up, one after the other, waiting to find out today if they can get out of here. But they're not sure. They still don't know. With me is Jeannot Obi. He is a French-Canadian truck driver from Quebec?
Yep.
Yeah? And you've been here how long, Jeannot?
I got here Monday night by 10 o'clock.
Okay.
And we can't move since then. We're stuck.
You're stuck, but you're making the best of it. You said, you're talking to the other truck drivers, and do you think you might get out today?
I talked with someone on the CB last night by 2 o'clock, and he says maybe Thursday, maybe Friday before we can move.
Have you ever seen this much snow or been stranded for this long?
Maybe one time 20, 25 years ago in Fort Erie, just by the bridge toward Buffalo. We sat there for 2-3 days.
Are you annoyed? Are you upset? How are you feeling right now?
We can't do nothing. Just wait. That's all we can do. Wait.
I like your attitude. He says, I'm saying it's bitter cold, and it is bitter cold out here. But Jeannot says this is nothing. In Canada, it gets even colder.
We better sit here than sit on the freeway.
Right, better here than on the freeway.
We got food, we got restaurants, we got shower, we got everything here.
But you're living in your truck for the time being, aren't you?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I appreciate your time, Jeannot, and we wish you the very best of luck getting back to Canada.
We hope to get out sometime.
Yeah, it's a long way back to Quebec. So again,
we need to go to Ohio, Medina, Ohio.
Oh boy! So he's even got farther to go to Ohio.
Dixon, Illinois.
Okay.
So we don't know what happened.
All right. Thank you. And again, he's making the best of it. I met another truck driver, same deal. That's what they're trying to do out here today. We're going to talk to some more of the people who are stranded here, find out their game plan for later today, if they can get out of here safely later today. Reporting in Pembroke, Norma Holland, 13 WHAM News.
Thanks, Norma. I think we're a region that's normally equipped for this. We know how to handle it.
Yeah.
This is overwhelmed.
Oh, it is. I mean, the plows can't get through some of that snow to the west of us. And hearing him speak, what a great attitude he has. Because if he had to go to Quebec, that would be easy. Just head back. But he's got to go to Ohio. People still trying to dig out. It is impossible to keep up with the snow that is falling at 3 to 4 inches per hour at times. 2 people who were shoveling snow from the storm in Erie County died, both believed to have been from heart attacks. 4 deaths in all blamed on the storm. Buffalo leaders say this is the largest snowfall in nearly 4 decades, and with more on the way, it could break the records.
Speaking of breaking, snow broke through the front door of a home in Cheektowaga. The couple and their 5 kids were all upstairs when they heard a thump. The family was invited to stay at the fire department, but they've made a makeshift door instead and decided to stick it out again. This picture taken from inside their home.
Yeah. Today, the focus remains on the Thruway as the cleanup of the snow continues, but it is a struggle.
Hannah Welker is live in Henrietta near the Thruway entrance with more on how first responders are trying to respond to all of this. Hannah?
That's right, guys. First responders are really going into action, trying to dig out the Thruway to make it possible for all of these truck drivers, these travelers to go westbound. But as of right now, as you've said, it is still closed. You can see the tollway behind us. People are coming east, but you cannot go west. We've spoken to truck drivers who've been sitting here for hours. We've also spoken to some who just got here and didn't even realize that they'd be sitting here for a while. We also are seeing regular passengers, regular drivers trying to get where they're going. This vehicle right here from New Hampshire, they've been kind enough to speak with us this morning. Dan and Maria, they have an amazing story. How you guys doing?
We're doing good, all things considered.
All things considered. Please tell the fine folks where you're going.
We're actually going to Surprise, Arizona.
They're going to Arizona. You're not just going there. Take a look at their car. It's packed to the top because why?
We're moving.
You're moving to Arizona. Why would you want to move away from this weather?
Because it's 70 degrees there right now, and they have no snow.
No snow. Tell me how long you've been waiting here. Where are you coming? Where are you coming from? And when did you find out that you'd be sitting here for a while?
Well, we left at about 6 o'clock from Northwood, New Hampshire, and we didn't get stuck here until about 4. Right now it's 6, so we've only been waiting about 2 hours, so it's not too bad.
So you haven't been here too long. There are a lot of people who've been waiting here for about a day. What are you expecting to do? I mean, are you prepared if something like that were to happen to you?
Probably not. First thing we moved was the TV set, so we had no information whatsoever. We just knew that the road was blocked when we got here.
And now you have a dog. You say you have other animals in this car too?
Oh yeah, we have some finches and in the back, yeah.
All right. Well, best of luck. We hope the road gets moving for you guys, but have safe travels to Arizona. As you can see, a lot of people trying to drive near, drive far. But right now, everyone is still at a standstill. I'll be here live in Henrietta all morning with more for you guys.
As far as we know, thanks, Hannah. As far as we know, we've checked. Those are the only finches caught in the storm, as far as we know. That is unbelievable.
Oh, my goodness. Marty is updating us, and for those folks who do have a TV, it's a good thing you're listening because he says more snow is on the way. He'll update us in just a moment.
Yeah.
We're still seeing that one lake effect band still persist in areas from Buffalo southward, even just downstream a little bit into portions of Genesee and Wyoming County still. But this band is going to move around a little bit today. It hasn't done that really all that much over the past 24 to 36 hours. But we're going to start to see a few changes begin to play out. And already it's beginning to lift up a little bit to the north, just coming north of 190 there in Buffalo. It has been holding to the south, and it's seeing that little bit of a northward push. Not much, but it's a little sign of things to come, especially out over Lake Erie. Here you can see that much more pronounced northward shift in that band. Main idea that band will push northward today. It's going to help it to the snow to taper off for the areas that have been seeing it. But I hate to give this news, but the band is going to reestablish itself over similar places through tonight and into tomorrow. So it's not done for those areas yet. Rochester, very different story as it has been over the past couple days. Teens to start the day, 20s as we head through the day. A couple more scattered snow showers as we head deeper into the day. It's not going to be a lake effect event, but at least a general snow, not a focused lake effect event playing out. Here's a little sampling of some of the totals that have been seen throughout the whole event. 60 inches of snow in Lancaster. That's 5 feet of snow, 4 feet in Orchard Park, 48 inches there, 30 inches in Alexander, even Batavia and Pavilion, over a foot of snow already. Close to Rochester, we're starting off with 15 degrees, wind chill still holding at 1 degree above zero. There's that lake effect band, and again, notice how throughout the early to mid-morning hours, it shows that very pronounced northward push. A little bit of temporary good news for folks off to our west, and there's that general snow that builds in just very quickly as we head into the overnight. That tapers off, but beyond that, notice another lake effect band reestablishes itself. That one isn't going to focus so much in the Rochester area. Could get a couple showers out of that, but mainly south of town, especially as you get into those bands that already have seen all the snow. You could easily see some of these places picking up another foot of snow, even more than that, over the next couple days. So unfortunately, it's just not over with for those folks. And then that band eventually pushes down south into the southern tier, heading into the late part of tomorrow, and then it just tapers off, still focusing on some of those areas. Once again, here's that footprint of who will see that snow, mainly to the west and southwest of Rochester. That's where it plays out once again. And again, these localities are similar ones who've already seen all that snow. 26 for a high temperature today, fairly quiet in Rochester. 26 for the early evening low before temperatures increase. And then in the 30s for the next couple days, much milder for the longer term. Could push 60 by Monday, which could be a problem in itself with the melting. So that's another thing we have to watch.
Okay.
Thank you, Marty.
Yeah.
You're watching 13 Wham ABC. And this is Good Day Rochester.
It is a November snowstorm for the history books in western New York. The snow is still with us, causing problems along roadways, stranding drivers for hours, including a bus full of Niagara University athletes. We have an update on that. Good morning. It is 6:30 on this Wednesday, November 19th. I'm Doug Embledge.
And I'm Jennifer Johnson, and just hearing about a fifth death in the Buffalo region because of this snowfall. We'll get to all those details in just a moment. First, want to talk about the forecast, have to talk about the forecast because you're looking at another round coming in.
Another band of lake effect is going to reestablish itself back over the same places that have already seen all this. And between now and then, a little bit of a temporary break in some of that precipitation. That band still holding very strong across the eastern portions of Erie County, that is. And we'll continue with at least some of that lifting through there, lifting north going through the day today. So that's at least the good news. It's going to lift north, taper a little bit, but only temporarily. We're in the teens right now in Rochester. We'll get back into the 20s for highs, but some snow showers by the end of the day, not from lake effect, but just from a little disturbance passing through. But we'll focus more on that lake effect band and the significant snow totals that will still yet fall. All that coming up in a few moments.
Taking a look at your ride in this morning. As of right now, no major slowdowns or accidents to report, but due to severe weather, the New York State Thruway is closed in both directions between exit 46 in Henrietta and exit 61. That's right near the Pennsylvania state line. So with the frigid conditions this morning, use extra caution as we are getting reports of black ice on bridges and overpasses. You may want to give yourself a little bit of extra time for your morning commute. That's it for now with your Time Saver Traffic. I'm Mike Bowen.
So we're in a little bit of a lull right now. Now is the time to clean up for a lot of places across western New York.
Just so you can be ready for the next round of snow.
Exactly.
Yeah, Genesee and Wyoming County still under states of emergency. There is a travel ban in the town of Leroy. At this hour, the Thruway remains closed between exits 46 in Henrietta and exit 61 near the Pennsylvania state line. Again, no eastbound or westbound traffic on that stretch of the Thruway.
Again, okay in Rochester, but in Buffalo, that's where the worst of it is. The snow now being blamed for 5 deaths. A man in his 40s found trapped in his car most recently. This week, areas expected to get a year's worth of snow, again, in just a matter of a few days.
The snow is having a ripple effect here, where some communities have had several inches over the past 36 hours. Again, nothing like Buffalo.
We have team coverage this morning. Norma Holland is in Pembroke. She'll be joining us for a report in just a moment. We're going to start, though, with Hannah Welker near the Thruway in Henrietta with more on how commuters are doing in the snow, and again, still closed.
It is. It's still closed, Jen. I am live at Henrietta, and as you can see, the toll booth, people going eastbound through Albany able to drive westbound through Buffalo closed. Still closed. Several truck drivers have been waiting here, some for about a day, trying to get out of here. And as you can see, something we've noticed this morning, state police are very present here, driving through the toll booth as a lot of people are making a loop, turning around, realizing they can't go westbound. So state troopers making themselves known as well. We spoke to one truck driver who's actually headed toward Canada, and here's what he had to say.
Well, it's going to cost me money now. I'll be sat up here for God knows how long. I was just looking at alternative route, but if you say it's closed because of snow, it's going to be even worse down on that road, I would imagine. So I don't want to go down there, but yeah, I get paid by the mile, so if I'm not, the wheels ain't turning, I'm not earning any money.
And that's what's tough, and it's common for a lot of truck drivers. They deal with this snow throughout the year. They say it's what they have to do for their job, but again, if they're not moving, some of them are not making money. We see more state police arriving as well right now. And we just spoke with a family who's just trying to get out to Arizona. They say they're moving. They're trying to escape this snow. But right now, they are at a standstill. I'll be here live all morning at the Henrietta toll booth to see if anything changes. But right now, I'll toss back to you guys.
All right, Hannah,
Thanks,
thank you.
Hannah.
So people sort of getting the Thruway, realizing they can't go west, and then trying to find alternate routes.
Yeah.
And those are problematic this morning.
Now,
as
if I was the
well.
Arizona couple, I think I'd get on 390 south and just find a way to work my way south of the snow.
You want to call them?
Yeah, and the dogs and the
finches.
They have finches in the car. Norma Holland is in Pembroke. There are also truckers and other drivers stuck there. Norma, I know you've been chatting with some of them this morning. At least they have your company, you know, if you think of it that way.
They have each other, Doug. This is an exclusive group here, okay? I have a bunch of people who've been traveling. They all got stuck, a lot of them since Monday. They're here at the travel center, staying in either their trucks or they're staying in hotels, places they can stay around here. That's what they're doing this morning, and that's what they've been doing since they got stuck here, is talking to one another, figuring out what their plan B is. And this morning, what we're finding is a lot of them are saying, look, we got stuck here Monday. Many of them arrived on Monday or Tuesday and thought, I guess I'm not going anywhere. And so this morning, we're getting a chance to meet all of these people. As you have been saying, the Thruway is closed, but there are other routes that are available, of course, heading east. And so right now, with as many people as we meet, there are as many stories of people trying to figure out what is next and how they plan to get out of here.
Well, when I got here, it was packed. And talking to everybody, they're all saying the same thing. Everything's closed. If we don't get out of here today, if we don't have a plan to get out of here today, that second storm's gonna, mess us up until like at least Friday.
I talked with someone on the CB last night by 2 o'clock, and he says maybe Thursday, maybe Friday before we can move.
Now, that man you just heard from, Jeannot, he is from Quebec. He is trying to get out of here, hopefully by the end of the week, he says, but he's not sure. Rob, the guy you heard from previously, that man has a plan. He says he's going to drive toward Rochester and take 390 to 490 and try to get to his next destination. He is from Pennsylvania. Obviously, they're not going west toward Buffalo, and so they remain here. This is Truck City right now. This is one side of it. There is a huge row of trucks. That behind that row of trucks you're looking at right there is a clearing, and then another row of trucks. That's what's going on here. It is absolutely packed here. Barely any room for one other truck, although some of them are trying to get out of here this morning, and we'll certainly bring you up to date as to what their situation is here. Reporting live in Pembroke, Norma Holland, 13 WHAM News.
All right, Norma, thanks.
How does 57 degrees sound?
Right, and it's coming our way.
Sure
It's in
is.
a very strange Western New York only type of thing. Marty is here next with the Weather Authority planning forecast. Stay with us.
Still, that lake effect band persists well to the southwest of Rochester, lifting northward, though. So we are going to see some changes play out over the course of the day today. But right now we're seeing that begin to lift a little bit more towards downtown Buffalo and even extending down the stream as you look along the Thruway just east of Buffalo there and even into portion of Genesee and Wyoming counties as well. But again, it's that northward push that will continue to play out during the day, really over Lake Erie. You can see that push how it really has played out. Still the very tip of the band still is yet to show as much movement as what has played out over the lake. But generally, that's what's happening. It's going to lift north during the day, taking it away from the areas that have been seeing that snow. But unfortunately, that's not it. That band will reestablish itself through tonight going into tomorrow. During that time frame, another significant accumulation of snow is very likely. Now, we're starting off in Rochester, close to the upper teens right now. We'll rise back into the 20s. We'll see a couple scattered snow showers by the end of the day. It's a little weak disturbance it's passing through for that time frame. That's about it. But for the longer term, we're going to see that band reestablish itself well to the southwest. Here's what we've seen as far as snowfall totals. And again, keep in mind, the latest update from where these numbers came from the Weather Service was late last night. So many of these areas have seen increases in their totals since then. The high spot, Lancaster, 60 inches of snow, 5 feet, 4 feet for Orchard Park, 48 inches there. Even as close as Alexander, 30 inches. 13 in Pavilion and Batavia. So again, some of those really extend into Genesee County as well. But 15 for the latest air temperature in Rochester feels like 1 degree once you factor in the wind chill. There's the movement of that lake effect band northward going through the day. So at least a little bit of a break for the areas that have been seeing that snow. Then just a general snow builds in by the very end of the day. Could cause a little light accumulation before that just tapers right off. Then there's that secondary band. That reestablishes itself pretty much right along the same footprint of the first one, mainly from Buffalo southward, even into southern Genesee, Wyoming counties, even Livingston County could see at least some of those snow showers. That will stick around through the overnight into tomorrow, and there is a lake effect snow warning that goes back into effect for that whole time frame. 26 for high temperature today. We'll start off at 26 for the early evening low and then increase from there overnight. Not by much, but we won't drop throughout the overnight. 32 and 30 for the next couple days of the work week. And then into the weekend, at least some warmer temperatures. Of course, yeah, that'll be nice, but that's going to cause flooding issues off to the west into early next week. 50 on Sunday with some rain and then 57 into Monday. So what seems nice may actually cause more problems heading into early next week. They'll have to be monitored.
Okay. He's going to be a busy guy.
Coming up next on Good Day Rochester, some of your photos from the snowstorm. Adam Chodak in to go through the album with us. Today we're starting off with most temperatures in the teens right now, wind chills in the single digits, a couple places near zero right now. We'll get up to 26 for a high temperature today. Expect temperatures to pretty much start there tonight and then likely rise by a couple degrees. 32 tomorrow, more lake effect playing out in those areas that have already seen a lot of it from tonight into tomorrow, and then back into the 50s for early next week.
All right, so the November winter storm still very much the big story today.
Yeah, Adam is with us now to show us some of your pictures, and boy, have we seen a bunch of them.
Yeah, and a lot of them have been showstoppers. We want to thank all of you who have sent in your pictures to us. Tanya Parsons shared a photo of her car, or what can be seen of it. This is in, no, not Lackawanna, not Cheektowaga. This is Batavia. A reminder that not just the Buffalo area got clobbered, but no question, they bared the brunt of it. This photo coming up now from South Buffalo, where the snow is reaching up to some roofs. And remember those cartoons where they open the door and it's all bricks? Yeah, similar experience for a woman in West Seneca, unfortunately. Yeah. I guess fortunately that's not bricks. This will at least melt, hopefully not into her house. We encourage you to share your photos on Facebook, on our Facebook page, and with us on Twitter. We'll share them throughout the morning here on Good Day Rochester. When we come back, we will have your morning rush, and I will give it back to you, Doug and Jen.
Yeah, we'll also get an update on the power outage situation in some places you might not expect when we come back.
You're watching 13 Wham ABC, and this is Good Day Rochester.
So a lot of people attempting to dig out this morning as snow continues to pile up in places. We have a lull right now, but Marty says hold on because more is coming. Record amounts already. It's fallen in some places. We're going to talk about the impact on travel, schools, and first responders from this November storm. Welcome everyone to your morning rush.
Norma, Hannah, and Adam all standing by with our top stories today. We're going to get to that after a check of the weather first this morning. Marty is telling us that we can expect cold temperatures again today, a windy day as well, so the wind chill will make it feel even colder. And then he's going to tell us about the next band of lake effect and when Rochester, the metro area, might see some significant snow in the next few days.
Taking a look at your ride in this morning, as of right now, no major slowdowns or accidents to report, but due to severe weather, the New York State Thruway is closed in both directions between exit 46 in Henrietta and exit 61. That's right near the Pennsylvania state line. We are getting some reports of black ice on bridges and overpasses, so with the frigid conditions this morning, you want to give yourself a little bit of extra time and use a little bit of extra caution during your morning commute. With your time saver traffic, I'm Mike Bowen.
All right, the snow's still falling in some parts of the area this morning, and we are seeing the ripple effects of what's happening in Buffalo to the west in our viewing area.
A lot of the same schools closed yesterday are closed once again today. They are scrolling now at the bottom of your screen. I also want to point out there are about 3,500 power outages in our area. The worst of it in terms of snow to the west near Buffalo. Here's why. Look at that time lapse of it rolling in. And we can tell you now at least 5 deaths are blamed on the storm there. And as much as 5 feet has fallen in some places.
And the same thing that was true yesterday morning at this time is true now. The Thruway remains shut down from exit 46 in Henrietta to exit 61. We do have team coverage of the storm. Hannah Welker standing by in Henrietta near the Thruway, where you can go east, but you cannot go west.
We're going to start, though, with Norma first, live in Genesee County, where travel ban is, she made it what she's calling Truck City there. Norma?
Yeah, Jen, this is what it looks like this morning. And as you can see, this is just a row after row of trucks, a row of trucks, I should say. These people aren't going anywhere anytime soon. Many of them have been stuck here since Monday. Many from Pennsylvania, some from Michigan, some from Tennessee. We met a driver all the way from Quebec. They are not going anywhere right now. They're making alternate travel plans right now. That's their goal for today. And, you know, the attitude here is we're going to get through this. We're doing the best we can. They're keeping a lighthearted attitude. I asked one truck driver from Tennessee just a short while ago, if he hoped to get out of Pembroke today? And he looked at me and with a heavy southern drawl, he said, "No, I'm going to get out of here today." That's what he said, and that's his attitude. We're going to talk to more of these drivers, hear about their travel plans and how they plan to get home safely today. Reporting live in Pembroke, Norma Holland, 13 WHAM News.
All right, Norma, thanks. Travel really a problem where Norma is, and of course in a lot of other places as well. Besides the Thruway closure, a state of emergency remains in effect in Genesee and Wyoming counties. Also a travel ban in the town of Leroy. Amtrak has halted services between Albany and the Buffalo area until afternoon at least.
The snow amounts in the Buffalo area are simply staggering.
And people trying to dig out, but it's impossible to keep up with the snow falling at 3 to 4 inches per hour at times. Officials say 2 people who were shoveling snow from the storm in Erie County died, both believed to have had heart attacks. Buffalo leaders say this is the largest snowfall in nearly 4 decades. And as Marty said, more is on the way.
The snow burst through the front door of a home in Cheektowaga. Saw a similar picture from a home in Hamburg yesterday. The couple who lives in this house and their 5 children all upstairs when they heard the loud thump. The family was invited to stay at the fire hall, but instead they have made a makeshift door and decided to stay at home through the storm.
Today, the focus on the Thruway as cleanup of some of the snow is going on, some of the snow tapering right now, but it's still a struggle out there for drivers. Yeah,
Hannah's live in Henrietta covering the situation at the east end of the Thruway closure, exit 46 in Henrietta, and they're still trying to clear a path for those people who need to go west.
That's exactly what they're trying to do, Doug. And other people working tirelessly right now, state troopers. We've seen so many of them driving around. A lot of truck drivers trying to get more information, trying to figure out when they're going to be able to go west. I spoke to one state police officer a few minutes ago. He said they do not see the Thruway opening up westbound anytime in the foreseeable future. That has a lot of truck drivers leaving this parking lot where I'm standing right now, leaving and turning around. They're going through the toll booth and actually making a U-turn to try and find an alternate route to wherever they're headed, just to keep business rolling. We have police officers directing traffic, just trying to make this a safe situation, trying to make it less chaotic than what it seems to be right now. They're trying to direct passengers, drivers, anyone they can to keep this situation under control. a lot of trucks just trying to go exactly where they're headed. But right now, it looks like they're at a standstill.
All right, Hannah Welker at exit 46. The headline from that, as I see it, no time soon will that throughway stretch be open.
Headline in terms of the weather is more snow is coming. Let's check in with Marty.
That's right. Yeah, more is on the way, and we're seeing that one lake effect band to the west shift a little bit. It's showing a little bit of a northward push. That trend will continue to play out throughout the early morning. You can see it how it has been moving to the north. Notice even more pronounced out over Lake Erie. So that'll play out, giving those areas a temporary break in some of that snow. Unfortunately, it's not going to be the last that they'll see. There's going to be another band setting up, heading through tonight, going into tomorrow. It could cause another significant accumulation on top of what has already fallen. For Rochester, as usual, different story. At least some breaks of sun, maybe a couple snow showers by the very end of the day as a weak disturbance passes through, not from lake effect. 26 for a high temperature today. We start there tonight, so that'll be the early evening low. 32 and 30 for the next couple days, and then temperatures increase to be back into the 50s as we head into early next week, which with melting, that could cause more problems for that time frame of a different nature. Now back to the news desk.
All right, Marty, thanks.
We have our question of the day coming up on Fox Rochester. Here's what we asked. Today's question, what did Charles Conrad and Ellen Bean do 45 years ago today? As we continue our snow coverage, let me share with you a text I just got from my friend in Florida. Not sure what to do about today's tea time, only going up to 72 degrees. I guess we'll bundle up and deal with it.
Wow. Yeah, your ex-friend, I think, is what you meant, right? Your ex-friend.